to welcome Nira Burstein, director, out back onto the stage.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi. It's good to have you here. So, is there anyone here in the audience, part of the film team, you want to acknowledge in the room?
I mean, there's so many people. I mean, if you
Everybody.
could stand up.
Yeah, let's stand up, give everyone a round of applause.
Somebody
I don't,
here.
I'm not trying to, the microphones are
We're
working.
from the film and also we're in the film.
No, they're not working.
This is a New York film, so
The New York Film Festival. So let's talk about the film a little. It's such a personal story. How did you come to this decision to share this incredibly personal story with everyone? What made you decide to do that? To share a very, very personal story, but put it out in public?
Well, it started with, I'm a filmmaker and I thought my parents were interesting. And I just started right there. Yeah, they are, right?
Really? And Fred, how did you get involved with this story?
Well, she brought this movie to me. First, she sort of communicated with me and was like, I think you will like this movie. And then it turned out I really did. Like it was a thing where I was like, okay, sure, I'll watch this. And then it was so moving, especially the wedding.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be involved in any way that I could. So I'm really glad about it. I can't believe to me, her parents are famous.
And your mom is here too.
My mom is here. Did she make it? No, there she's waving. Hi.
That's great. And so, let me ask, how did your family feel about being on camera, and did they feel any reticence to being on camera? Were they open to it? How did you approach that question?
I mean, my parents are really artistic people. So they understand that need to put things on the record in that way, and I think my dad doing the home videos was his own way of exploring that, not knowing that would be shared with the public, but as a way of just documenting what was going on.
And would you say that's how you got your spark? When your family was documenting, so you decided to do that, or?
No, I completely forgot about that. Between the 20 years that was shot in my becoming a filmmaker, but somehow it just seemed like there was a passing of a baton a little bit.
Right, of course. If anyone here has any questions, feel free to raise your hand and I will call on you as well. So if you want to just talk about your path a little bit, to get into this film and putting it on screen, and if you want to talk about that journey a little bit.
Well, I think it was about 6 years since I started filming, and about a year and a half until I started shooting. And I think Michael Levine, the other editor, is here, so he's amazing. Yeah, just person by person building this team, including Fred and all the people here from Gigantic and the executive producers, just person by person.
So I'm also a Queens girl. I love Queens. And so I love the way that you focused on Queens. It's a certain borough that I think people forget, and they shouldn't. So how did you decide, what was your approach to filming that particular borough? Or?
I mean, most of the movie takes place inside the house.
Right.
And I think, but I think it's true maybe across any building, maybe any place where you can get very stuck within your bounds of your own home.
Sure.
And even when we're out, what we call the Queens Boulevard scene, which is when my parents are outside of the house, it's almost jarring.
Yeah.
But that's a part of Queens.
It's kind of what also really attracted me to this movie is that I grew up on Long Island. We all have a relationship with Manhattan, but taking the train back and forth, you see those buildings, those houses, and to me, this is what I imagined it, looking like and sounding like. So I like this, just really getting to know Queens in that way.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big fan, as you can tell. Anyone have any questions No? Oh, right over here.
Yep.
Go for it.
So beautiful. This is actually my second time having the treat of watching. I got to see a rough cut, I guess a couple years ago maybe. And so I'm curious a little bit about the editing process, the structural challenges of format and change all the time.
Maybe you know because you saw the rough cuts. I mean, it's just about, finding the right, layer to layer, adding each time, I think. And telling a story that just like feels fresh and feels cinematic, but about a very personal story is a challenging thing, I think, for sure. But, Fred and the rest of the team had such great notes. Maybe the edit you saw had a different beginning,
I was all there.
That's a good question. And so how does if there's any family here, has that brought you closer together? I mean, everyone's here for the screening, but did it cause any tensions or issues, or did it actually bring you closer by telling the story?
I see my dad covering his face right now with his hat. I don't want to speak for anyone, but I mean, honestly, for me, I don't know, it's just been a big love fest between me and my parents sharing this film with them.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up over here. Oh, is there a question right over in the back?
Well, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but when I was watching this, I felt like we were watching real life happening, but it seemed kind of like we were watching a movie that was scripted because the stuff that was happening was like too amazing to be happening in a documentary format. And I even imagined like Fred could be playing one of these roles because it was just so theatrical and comical. And I sort of wonder, like, Fred, as you were watching this film, did you like see yourself or imagine yourself playing any of these roles? Is that part of why you felt a connection?
Definitely. I want to play a character like that. I really do. Just the way he talks, the way he is. I also love his relationship to music. Like, he is effortless at all these instruments, and he doesn't brag about it. He just plays, and there's something really beautiful about that.
Did I see a hand up over there?
When you started, it was wonderful. My mom's a hoarder, so like I forgot that other people share these stories. Like so many kids are kind of like in that world stuff. But I was curious to know, when you started the film, did you know your parents were gonna pack everything up? Like to see that scene with the house being empty was just like I started crying. I was like, oh my gosh. So, like,
No, that was within the 6 years of filming. Definitely not knowing that was going to happen at the end.
So this, when I was watching, I was like, I wonder what the end is gonna be, and to see that is pretty inspiring.
What area did they move to?
You're still in Queens.
So when you were going through all of this footage and these personal family photos and things like that, did you have any surprises? Is there stuff that you cut out from the film that you maybe didn't want on film? And how did you make those choices to film or put in the film what you ended up cut?
I mean, there's always, the kill your darlings
Right.
phrase. I mean, there's so many golden moments. Also in the home videos too, where I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. But, you have to I wanted to create a narrative because that was a challenge as a filmmaker to make a documentary with a very strong narrative, and I feel like somehow all the elements came together to do that, and so I wanted to be that.
Great. Right over here, question?
Yes, I wanted to know more about how you inserted yourself in the film too, and how you crafted your own personal thread, and decision to be in front of the camera versus behind, voiceover, all of that.
Fred? I mean, filming, when I started filming, I was pretty sure I wanted to be in the film as little as possible. For me, when I see other personal docs, I think either you're in front of the camera or you're behind the camera, but you can't be both. So for me, it was very much an exercise in observation. And then slowly, though, as things would develop within the story and narrative, and I felt I needed to get more involved, I did.
Anyone else? Oh, right over here.
Yeah, when you first started, like Genesis, it's like, I'm from a very unique family. Yeah. You know, another, it's not uncommon for family. So, but did you have a thought of, I guess, what did you hope for, other than, hey, I'm a unique family, I'm gonna film this for the next 6 years? Like, it was just, I wanna make a doc, or was there, did you have, what was, what you hope for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, definitely. I mean, there was like, I think, an internal personal journey, which was like to share what I felt that I saw with my family. You know, as my dad says towards the end of the movie, it's like when you're in something, you don't realize what other people see, you know? And so that was a big part of my wanting to share this with my family. And then, yes, in terms of being a filmmaker, wanting to share that with other people and resonate with them.
I have a question.
Go for it.
You know, when you're following someone around with a camera, it's hard for that person to feel natural. The sound is really good. I mean, this is a real question. How did you get them to be so relaxed in themselves? You know, I don't know if you were miking them or if you had like a mic on your camera. How did it take some time, or was it right away?
Well, technically speaking, they were logged, and I also had them like on my camera, but it was just one of those really organic things where like I told them I was coming in advance of shooting that first shoot, and they were like, okay, and it was really our relationship was not any different than it would be without the camera, I'm pretty sure.
Anyone else over there in the audience? We got time for one more, right over here.
It's absolutely fantastic. It feels so incredibly effortless, you know, but I know what goes into it and how much work and editing is really, really fantastic. And the humor is like, truth is really way better than fiction, you know, and this film is like extremely good sense. That's all.
One more question.
Yeah, one more.
Nira, I know you've been working on this film for years and years and caring so much of it. And, you know, and of course you have your team, but I also know it seems like when Fred really came on board that you had a meaningful collaboration and not just the typical, like a lot of times people think an executive producer sort of comes on board and like it's a name in name only. And I'm wondering if you guys could just talk a little bit about like how you collaborate a little bit, because the cut seemed to really take a leap at a certain point around then.
So nice. What a nice thing to say. Well, for me, what's great is that we didn't know each other before, so it's very artistic. That's the part I really like. That you know, it wasn't like, hey, I'm working on this movie, do you want to check it out? It was more like a real artistic endeavor. I can't even say collaboration because you did everything, but
It was a collaboration. He
Oh,
has
that's-
amazing edit notes. So.
that's very nice.
Big compliment.
But it's the feeling is watching something and being a little angry that I wasn't like, I wish I was there for, you know, all of it. That feeling is kind of what propelled me forward. Sort of like, I wish I could have something to do with this, and then that was possible.
Fred jumped in with 2 feet, you know.
And how did you two meet?
In the post process, and just like, yeah, in terms of editing notes, like, you know, you help shape the story. And, you know, maybe, because you came on pre-pandemic, okay? And then it's just suddenly we had a lot of time to like work on the edit.
One more? We'll do one more.
Wonderful film. It's so heartfelt and touching and honest. So what are your plans for it after the festival? Where does it live? How do you get it to more people?
It's a great question. Next is going to Festival di Popoli in Florence, Italy, so if anyone is there, you should go. But yes, we are, you know, in the process of figuring out distribution, because yes, we'd love to share this film. And, you know, there's gonna be another screening on Tuesday, so if you can tell your friends to come to that, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, we're so happy to have this film, this New York City premiere here at DOC NYC. Thank you so much for sharing this story with us. Thank you all.